Let's take a trip back to the 1980s, a time of big hair, synthesizer soundtracks, and Saturday morning heroes that blew our minds. But here's the kicker. Some of those superhero shows weren't just good for their time, they're still surprisingly great today. Whether it was the campy charm, the surprisingly solid storylines, or those unforgettable theme songs, these shows have aged like fine wine. So if you're feeling nostalgic or just wondering which 80s superhero shows are still worth watching, you're in for a treat. Before we dive into the action, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We drop new videos every week about retro pop culture, hidden gems, and all the shows you forgot you loved. Let's jump in. 1. The Incredible Hulk, 1978 to 1982. Starting with a show that technically debuted in the late 70s, but really found its stride in the early 80s, The Incredible Hulk, starring Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno, was unlike anything else on TV. This show gave us real emotional depth. Dr. David Banner, not Bruce in this version, was a tortured genius on the run, trying to cure himself of the monster inside him. And when he got angry, you wouldn't like him when he's angry. The transformation scenes, though dated by today's standards, were groundbreaking back then. Lou Ferrigno's physical presence as the Hulk brought a raw, tangible strength to the character that CGI just can't replicate. What made this show truly stand out was the emotion. Each episode was like a mini drama, with Banner helping people in need while always one step ahead of those who wanted to expose or exploit him. The bitter-sweet endings and the haunting piano theme at the end of every episode became its signature, leaving audiences reflective and emotionally invested. Second Wonder Woman, 1975 to 1979, syndicated through the 80s. Wonder Woman, starring Linda Carter, technically wrapped up in '79, but its impact was strongest in the early 80s through syndication. Carter's portrayal of Diana Prince brought elegance, power, and warmth. She wasn't just fighting bad guys. She was a symbol of female empowerment in a time when TV sorely lacked leading heroines. Her spinning transformation, her bullet-deflecting bracelets, and the invisible jet were all part of what made her so iconic. The series seamlessly combined fantasy with social commentary, addressing issues like sexism and war while never losing its sense of fun. And, let's be honest, Linda Carter's version of Wonder Woman is still considered by many to be the definitive one. If you're flipping channels and stumble on an episode today, it's hard not to get pulled back in. Third, The Greatest American Hero, 1981 to 1983. This show had a simple yet genius premise. A regular guy gets a superhero suit from aliens and promptly loses the instruction manual. Ralph Hinckley, played by William Catt, was instantly relatable. He was clumsy, unsure of himself, and never quite got the hang of flying or landing. But he had heart, and his journey from reluctant hero to role model was both hilarious and inspiring. The show also had a great balance between comedy and serious topics. It didn't shy away from issues like teenage drug use, political corruption, and public responsibility. Robert Culp's dry-witted FBI agent Bill Maxwell added a perfect foil to Ralph's idealism. And, of course, believe it or not, the theme song became a cultural touchstone, climbing the Billboard charts and embedding itself in pop culture. The show might be a little cheesy by today's standards, but its charm and originality still shine. Fourth, Spider-Man, 1977 to 1981. Nicholas Hammond's portrayal of Peter Parker was earnest and a bit awkward, which honestly is pretty perfect for early Spider-Man. The series didn't have a huge budget, so effects were basic. But for fans in the 80s, it was the first time Spider-Man had been brought to life in a way that felt real. It brought the character off the comic book page and into living rooms across America. The show emphasized Peter Parker's struggles as much as Spider-Man's heroics. Whether dealing with personal loss, everyday injustice, or moral dilemmas, the character always felt grounded and human. Though short-lived, the series left a mark and helped pave the way for all future live-action Spideys. It deserves more credit for what it accomplished with what little it had. 5. Shazam! 1974 to 1976, syndicated in the 80s. Shazam delivered bite-sized morality tales wrapped in superhero action. Billy Batson traveled with his mentor, getting wisdom from the gods, Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury. Hence the acronym. He would transform into the adult superhero Shazam to help people in need. Every episode ended with a morale, like a superhero version of Full House. The messages were clear: do the right thing, help others, and always be honest. While the effects were minimal and the acting sometimes stiff, the sincerity was unmatched. This show had a purity that many modern superhero stories have lost. It wasn't about epic battles. It was about doing good. 6. Electra Woman and Dyna Girl, 1976, syndicated in the 80s. Part of the Croft Super Show lineup, Electra Woman and Dyna Girl was pure unapologetic 70s camp that spilled into 80s culture. The show was ahead of its time in giving young girls superhero role models. They had high-tech gadgets, colorful suits, and a mission to fight over-the-top villains like the Spider Lady and the Pharaoh. Yes, it was cheesy. Yes, it was low budget. But its heart was in the right place. It celebrated intelligence, bravery, and friendship in an era where female superheroes were practically non-existent on screen. It has since become a cult classic, beloved for its kitschy charm and trailblazing characters. 7th Ottoman, 1983 to 1984. Ottoman was a dazzling sci-fi concept that aimed for the stars. It featured a computer-generated crime fighter who could manipulate the real world with digital constructs. The special effects were cutting-edge for their time. Ottoman's glowing suit, futuristic car, and the helpful cursor were all high-concept visuals that wowed audiences. While the storytelling sometimes struggled to keep up with the tech, the show's ambition was undeniable. It also captured the zeitgeist of early computer culture. With the rise of video games and home computing in the 80s, Ottoman felt like it was part of the tech revolution. It was bold, creative, and years ahead of its time. 8. Manimal, 1983. A doctor who could shape-shift into any animal? Sign us up. Manimal was totally bonkers, in the best way. The transformation scenes were long and dramatic, but they showcased amazing practical effects for the time, courtesy of the legendary Stan Winston. Dr. Jonathan Chase used his powers to help solve crimes, which made each episode feel like a mix of mystery, action, and sci-fi. The show's short run didn't stop it from developing a loyal fan base who embraced its weirdness. Today, it's remembered fondly as a perfect example of 80s imagination running wild. It's not perfect, but it's perfectly entertaining. Ninth, Knight Rider, 1982 to 1986. This one's legendary. Knight Rider was the dream show for kids and adults alike. Michael Knight, played by David Hasselhoff, was a suave hero with a moral code, and Ikaititi, his talking car, was the ultimate sidekick. The relationship between man and machine was surprisingly deep. Kit wasn't just a gadget, he was a character. Their banter, trust, and teamwork made the show more than just a tech spectacle. The stunts were spectacular, the villains were colorful, and every episode felt like a mini action movie. Even today, the show's concept remains compelling, inspiring reboots and references across media. 10th, Misfits of Science, 1985 to 1986. Imagine Ghostbusters mixed with X-Men and a splash of Breakfast Club, and you've got Misfits of Science. This quirky group of super-powered outcasts tackled bizarre crimes and fringe science with humor and heart. It was unapologetically weird, but that's what made it special. One could shrink, another had electric powers, and the team constantly battled strange foes with a heavy dose of 80s flair. Though it only lasted one season, it captured the spirit of rebellion and hope. Plus, it gave Courtney Cox one of her first major TV roles. Fans still rally around it as an underrated gem. So there you have it. 10 superhero shows from the 1980s that still hold up today. Whether they were heartfelt, hilarious, or just gloriously weird, these shows defined an era and continue to inspire superhero fans everywhere. Which one was your favorite? Or did we miss a hidden gem? Drop it in the comments. We want to hear from you. And hey, if you love this blast from the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss a nostalgic deep dive. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.